know, throughout your solo career and you being part of a group, where does Dead Silence come into play? You know, you broke off from being in a major label, you started off on your own. And that came about, if I'm not mistaken, in the early 2000s, Dead Silence?
That's right. That's right. It definitely came, Dead Silence came around just as I was releasing my first solo record, you know. It was the record label that released Simple Plan, which is my first solo album. I needed a label, a vehicle that I was going to release this record under, and that became Dead Silence Records. As a matter of fact, I remember when we first came up with the name Dead Silence, and it actually became. I have a small clothing company called Joint Clothing. I don't know if you're aware of that, but I was doing that from 1998 as well. And we had a T-shirt design that was called Dead Silence, and it just said Joint, and it was just in like sign language. And it said Joint, and I named that shirt Dead Silence. And I remember being at the House of Blues up in Hollywood, and we were watching. I know Quinto Sol was on stage, the band. They were on stage performing, and we were all there. Dead Silence family was there, and Jay Unico was there with me. And we were kicking it at the bar, one of the side bars, and we were talking about the label and what the label name should be. And I don't know, I think he was like, fuck, like, you should name it like that T-shirt, like Dead Silence. I'm like, oh shit, man, that's fucking pretty tight and shit, like Dead Silence. I like that. You know what I mean? So that was it. It didn't take long. As soon as he said that, man, that's a perfect fit, man. So because he brought that idea to my attention based off of a joint shoot that I had, we rolled with it, man. I thought it was perfect. And I felt like it meant the meaning to me, the way I can see the meaning to be, it made sense to me as well. You know, a lot of people ask what it means. What does that silence mean? And I'm not sure it means just one thing, but I know that it means kind of like keep your mouth shut and just get busy type shit. You know, we ain't gonna say much, we're just gonna do. You know what I mean? Our actions speak louder than our words type thing. And at the same time, I kind of feel like at the same time, like we have to make music with substance. So in other words, you can't, and if you are gonna speak, then make it matter. You know what I mean? Otherwise, because you do need to speak up sometimes in order for change. You can't just sit there quietly and let shit go crazy around you. You gotta stand up for what you believe in and voice your opinion. So therefore, if you don't speak, you're dead. If you're silent, you're dead. Or remain dead silent until you're ready to say some shit. You know what I mean? With substance and meaning. It's kind of that balance between those two perspectives that I think the name of the label is about.
I kind of like how you put that into play. You know what I mean? It's dead silence. You just undo. Right, but at the same time, like as you mentioned, you gotta speak up. And one of the things in your last album, I think it's Uprising and Struggle. We were kind of mistaken as far as the date, but you clarified that it came out in 2010.
That's right.
And how did that come out? How was that put together? The motivation behind it? Because you still have that similar sound, which is why I asked. You know, but it's a little different from the first one you put out, Simple Plan. That's your solo. Right. What was the motivation behind this one?
It's just I think each record is just a little snapshot, you know, of where you are in your life, you know, just a time and place type thing. With Upside of Struggle, it's just pretty much where I was, you know, just. So you asked if it was easy to do that transition from solo to group, from group to solo, and I didn't find that it was going to be difficult to make that transition, and it wasn't difficult to do it for me, like as an individual, what I had to go through to do it. I was prepared for that, but to make ground and to make a living at music, and also the industry, how it changes and how you have to monetize in music to make money to survive, those things changed over time as well. So me, I pretty much, you know, I find myself that I still struggle at times, like most people, you know what I mean? Like a lot of people, I still struggle. Like everybody else, I struggle to, you know, just to live life, you know what I mean? As your family grows, it goes in peace and things of that nature, car problems, just like everyday shit, like everybody else. I think it's kind of like trying to find that silver lining in that, and that's what the idea was with Upside of Struggle. which was a song first, and then became the title of the album. But it was just, it's about just, overall, I feel it was just trying to see like the brighter side of things when things are bad. Just trying to find that. And that's how that came about. And like everything else though, the only thing about that's unique about that record is that I did the whole thing in 4 months. From beginning to end. When I did that record, when I started recording, I didn't have any beats, I didn't have any production, I didn't have shit. And in 4 months, I didn't have lyrics. But we were working on other projects, and then you get to that point where you feel like, damn, it's been a long time since my last record, so I had to at some point just kind of pump the brakes on things that were going on around me, other projects, for the sake of, I felt like I had to get something out, and we were kind of moving a little slow in other areas. So I gave myself some time. I said, I'm gonna do a record, and I got in, man. And in 4 months, I had all the beats, I had all the lyrics, I had it recorded, and mastered, and pretty much released shortly after that. So I like to look back on that as a good example of efficiency and expediency, and trying to keep quality, you know what I'm saying? Because in 4 months, you know, that means you write every song and every song makes the album. Of course. You know what I mean? A lot of times people write songs, they write 30 or 40 and like 12 make the album, right? So each song I wrote was intended to stay on the album, and that's the way it went. So, but I did have some help on the production on that album. A couple of the songs that you mentioned that you like a lot are actually produced by Jay Matic. He's a young producer that I met a while ago, and he produced 2 of those. He produced the one, The Gathering, which is the collabo that I have with C. Jackin. And he also produced the Be Free song, which is the animated video, the cartoon. Those are his productions. On Be Free, we came in and we worked on that. We actually kind of switched that up a little bit and put some live instrumentation to it, but overall that's his production, that's his concept. But rather than using that sample, we wanted to make it live, so we changed it up a little bit. But he first introduced that beat to me, and then I Question, Omar, he did a song for me on that album called 1700 Little Years. Those are the outside producers for that record. But going back to the 4 months, yeah, I pretty much started from scratch on it. But yeah, that was the approach to it. It was all done right here.